which means at the end of the session, when we finish, you will get a confirmation of attendance. You'll get the slides sent to you, so you'll be able to look at those in a PDF document, and you'll also get a recording of this session or one of the sessions over the next couple of days. Okay, so I've done that now, so I don't have to worry about it. But you didn't come here to listen to me talk. You came here to I can't find it. You came here to listen to Ushapa. So I will now introduce Ushapa to you. So Ushapa has been teaching for over 14 years in the UK and in many different places outside of the UK as well. She's taught primary, secondary and adult education. She is a teacher trainer and she works worldwide doing that. And she's also a professional qualified meditation facilitator. Wow. And so I think she's going to help you to meditate and to relax today. And she's got the perfect voice for it, as people said yesterday. So, without further ado, I'll hand over to Ushapa, who can take you through the next hour. So, over to you. As I said, I'll be in the box. If there's any problems at all, just say hello to me in the box, okay? So.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Gareth. Okay, so hello everyone, good afternoon, good morning, good evening from wherever you are. I'm very happy to see so many of you here today. It's really great. So we're going to jump straight in to how we can meditate our way to better teaching. I'm really delighted to be presenting this webinar because for me, meditation has been the one thing that has had the biggest effect on my teaching, both in the way that I teach and also how I experience and how I enjoy my teaching. And so I'm really pleased that I can offer this to teachers today because, sorry, let me just set up, because I really think that as teachers, we have so many demands placed on us now. And as teachers, we can sometimes feel like this teacher or this image that we're trying to do 1,000 things at once. And this is because there's growing demands from our schools or institutions, from the government, from the parents of our students, sometimes from the students themselves. And unfortunately, these demands mean that teaching is one of the professions that has enormous levels of stress and enormous levels of burnout. Recent government statistics showed that 1/3 of all teachers who are newly trained leave teaching in the first 5 years, citing that stress is one of the biggest reasons why they've left. And that's a real shame for teachers. So I'm really pleased that we can be offering some professional development that focuses more on the teachers. Obviously, we will see that it does have an effect on our students, but more how we can support and enable teachers to be better. And it's no wonder that teachers are feeling stressed because of all of these demands. One of them, I'm just checking, louder, please. Okay. Volume is low. Okay. Sorry, let me check. Highest connection. That's better. Okay, fantastic. Fantastic, great. Thanks for telling me that. It's a good job that I had a look. Okay, so yeah, as like I was saying, one of the reasons that teachers are so stressed is because our roles have changed very much as teachers. You could say that this is our role as a teacher, that we take care of our students' academic needs. But I saw something recently that was a bit of a joke, but I think many of us find that it's true. So this is our role as a teacher. Plus, we take care of our students' emotional, psychological, mental, spiritual, physical, sometimes nutritional, and social needs. And of course, this can be seen as a bit of a joke, but for many of us, many of these things apply, and we can just feel a bit overwhelmed and experience burnout because of this. In fact, two-thirds of all doctors' visits in the UK are due to stress-related issues. So it's a huge sort of epidemic. And if teachers are always giving to students, then and not receiving things themselves, that's when burnout occurs. And so this is one of my favourite quotes, that you can't pour from an empty cup. You need to take care of yourself first. As teachers, we're generally generous and altruistic, but you can only give what you've got. So that's why I'm so delighted that OUP are offering this for teachers, to find ways that we can maybe keep our cup filled up. And one way that we can do this, or refill the cup, is through meditation and mindfulness. And so much research and evidence is being done and collected now about the benefits of meditation and mindfulness. And the next slide shows just a few of the possible benefits. And I think that as we read these things, most of us as teachers would say that yes, we would like all of those things. We would like more of them in our lives. And so meditation really works on this mental, physical and psychological way, and offers us benefits in each of those areas. Meditation has started to be introduced in schools now for students, and there are amazing results being collected about that. I'm really pleased that it's also being offered to teachers now. And there was a very interesting case by Dr. Jennings, who was who is an associate professor at the University of Virginia. She also wrote a great book called Mindfulness for Teachers, which is really helpful and has a lot of great ideas. So I would also recommend reading her book if you have a little time later. She did an experiment with teachers in New York City, and she took teachers from 244 what are called high poverty schools. So you can imagine that the teachers were under quite high levels of stress there. And they were offered a 6 to 8 week, I think, mindfulness program. And at the end, the participants reported drops in anxiety, depression, feelings of burnout, being rushed, and perceived stress. As well as that, they cited improvements in their sleep, and that they said that they felt less judgmental. So fantastic results from a very short program. However, the results didn't just stop with teachers. So while we are here focusing on teachers, you will see that what we do with ourselves or for ourselves has a direct result on our students, because what their results showed was that in the classrooms, the yelling went down when teachers were more mindful. I think that was yelling from the teachers, not from the students. The classrooms were rated more emotionally positive and productive, and the students were more engaged. So we can see then that just by the teachers participating, it has a direct effect on our students. So what is meditation, if we've talked about the benefits of it? Well, I have been meditating for about 14 years now, and I'm very aware that there is many misconceptions about meditation. So I asked some of my friends who are not meditators what they think meditation is, and here were some of their ideas. They said it's calming and emptying the mind. They said it's sitting in that funny yoga posture and humming. And then perhaps my favourite quote was from a colleague at school, and he said, meditation, it's just a load of hippies getting far out, isn't it? And while these are fantastic quotes, it really shows the misconceptions of meditation. And I think we're going to show you a link. It's a TED talk by a guy called Light Watkins, and it's called Debunking the 5 Most Common Myths About Meditation. And he's very amusing and very entertaining, and he will talk about some of these impressions that people have about meditation. Mostly when we think of meditation, we think of this, like one of my friends said. Oh, thanks, Gareth, who's put the link. One of my friends said, it's sitting like this and humming. And while this is one form of meditation, it's not the only form. And for many of us, this is not the easiest form. I'm not surprised that this is what people think of as meditation, because if you look up meditation in a dictionary, the synonyms that you are offered are things like this: concentration, thinking, brooding, reflection. It looks like that's what people are doing while they're sitting in that yoga posture. However, this is not my experience or my understanding of meditation. My understanding of meditation is that it's being in the now. As simple as that. And you might think, but what do you mean we're always in the now? Well, our bodies are always in the now, but actually, if we look at this illustration, I'm sure many of us have experienced this. Our bodies are somewhere. Look at the beautiful sun and the trees out in nature, but our minds are not there. Our minds are busy with other things. We're normally either in the past or in the future, worrying about things, maybe dreaming, planning things, mostly thinking, oh, why did that happen? What's going to happen? Why did she say this to me? What did it mean when he said this? So the dog, we could say, is being mindful, but the man's mind is full. Yeah, so this is the difference. And sorry, so like I say, we're normally in the past or the future instead of being in the now. And because of this sort of misconception of meditation, I decided to ask some regular meditators around the world, what does meditation mean to them? What is their experience of meditation? And I've made a very short video that we're going to watch now. So I'm going to turn off my mic so we can watch it and just see what their responses to the question is.
Have a moment to just enjoy. What I usually do is I just be quiet. Either I count my breaths, or take a walk in the forest, or just sit and look at the beautiful view.
For me, meditation is an art of having a relaxed awareness, and that is what I try to bring into my daily activities in my life, be it dancing, cooking, working, connecting, talking.
I guess it has to do something with looking for the truth, looking for happiness, joy maybe. For me, it's a way to stay focused and feel lighter throughout the day.
So meditation for me is about allowing awareness, about cultivating the present moment, and about getting in touch with my body and my inner self.
I guess meditation is about enjoying the moment, enjoying the here and now, enjoying just being present, I guess, in whatever you're doing, whether it be silent meditation, vipassana, or dancing, or playing a sport or anything like that. It's just enjoying the moment, being in the here and now.
I can't really explain, but I just have to say that I think it makes all the difference if you wanna live a happy and fulfilled life.
Okay, so We see then that when I asked the meditators what meditation meant to them, we heard very different responses. We heard words like relaxed, enjoyment, awareness, daily activities, walking in the forest, cooking, talking with friends, being in touch with their bodies, enjoying the moment, the here and now. Making a difference to live a happy and fulfilled life. And I see that some of you are already saying, yeah, things like, having a cup of coffee, having a cup of coffee, things like this help you or your understanding of meditation. So if we take all of this together, we can basically sum it up and say that meditation is relaxed awareness. And if we change the word from meditation to mindfulness, sometimes that's much easier for people because the definitions of mindfulness are very close to the definitions that the meditators used. So being aware, to be in the present moment, acknowledging feelings, thoughts, bodily sensations. Mindfulness.org says the same. It's about being fully aware and present. And this state of being fully aware and present, you have all experienced it. So somebody said earlier that cooking works for them. It's exactly singing in a choir. Yeah, exactly. One of my friends, the meditator, said that sport is also one. So you have all experienced this. You maybe have just called it something different. A very nice analogy I was given was if you imagine you're walking along the beach and it's a beautiful day and the sun is on your face and you can also feel the wind. You're aware of the sounds, maybe there's some birds flying above and the sea is slowly crashing next to you and you can see the colours all around you. You're just really enjoying this walk, having this awareness of everything. And then in the distance, at the end of the beach, you see a figure walking towards you. And as this figure gets closer, you think, oh no, I know that person and I owe them money. And you think, oh no, what can I do? Because I haven't paid them back. And you start to think, and you think, okay, could I pay them back now? No, I don't have any money. Okay, could I say that I've done a bank transfer and maybe there was a mistake with the bank? And then you think, hang on, I haven't got any money. Where's my wallet? Oh no, have I left my wallet at home? Oh, maybe I left it in the shop. And you go into a total panic. And while you're doing this, you look up and the person is a little bit closer and you see that the person is not that person that you thought they were at all. Okay, so you calm down, your heartbeat goes back to normal. They walk past you, say hello, and you're back on the beach. Because in those moments that you were worried about it or thinking about it, your surroundings totally disappeared. They were still there. The sea, the sun, the colours, the sounds, they were all still there, but you weren't aware of any of them. So that's the difference between when we are in meditation or we jump and we're too much in the mind. So let's ask some questions then about mindfulness. Okay. So mindfulness is a new idea. Do you think about this? Do you think it's true or false? And you can either type or you can raise your hand to show the true or false. Okay, we've got lots of falses. Okay, I'm not going to tell you the answer just yet. Okay, I'm going to ask you another question, which is you have to be spiritual to practice mindfulness. Oh, we've jumped to the next question as well. What do we think about that? Okay, some more falses. Yeah, no, okay. Oh, very nice. Andrea said it's a new word for an old idea. Yeah. Okay, let's look at the next question. Mindfulness is thinking. Okay, there's a couple of truths. Quite the opposite. Yeah, okay. More like experiencing, controlling, thinking. And the last one is you have to dedicate special time for your mindfulness practice. True, it helps. False, yeah. Okay. These were a little bit of trick questions because I believe that the answers to all of them are false. Okay, so I can't remember. Sorry, the chat box has gone up, but somebody had a very nice definition. They said mindfulness is a new word for an old practice. Exactly. The word mindfulness was coined by John Kabat-Zinn in the late 70s when he did a program called the Mindfulness based stress reduction program. But yes, it's essentially a new word for an old idea. You don't have to be spiritual. Yeah, your mindfulness can be nothing to do with any of your spiritual or religious beliefs. It can also go in hand in hand with them if you do have them. Mindfulness is thinking. Somebody said quite the opposite. Exactly. It's in some ways it's becoming aware of your thinking, but it's not these definitions of concentrating or brooding. And the last one is a bit tricky because you have to dedicate a special time for your mindfulness practice. It is great if you can. Many of us can't. It doesn't suit many of our lifestyles. And I'm going to show you how much time you should dedicate. And this is from an old Zen saying. And the saying is you should sit in meditation for 20 minutes a day. Okay, so everyone's thinking, okay, 20 minutes a day. Unless you are too busy, and then you should sit for an hour. Okay, now this is a bit of a joke, but it's to show that actually when we need meditation the most, when we're busiest, is when we do it the least, because we say, oh, I don't have any time. Don't worry. I'm not telling you have to sit in meditation for an hour. I'm not even telling you have to sit in meditation for 20 minutes. I'm going to show you that you don't even need to sit in meditation. Because like one of the meditators mentioned, and some of you were already mentioning about cooking and singing, meditation can be brought into our daily activities. And when I teach meditation courses in India and around the world, they are courses called Meditation for Daily Life or Work as Meditation. So as teachers, we can use these daily activities of taking the register, marking books, preparing or tidying up the classroom, writing on the board. We can use all of these activities to help us with our meditation. And that's what I'm going to show you in the next section of this webinar. And just a little reminder that just like in our teaching, we don't use one technique for every student. We have a toolbox of many different techniques, and we try different ones, and if one doesn't work, we try another. It's exactly the same with meditation. There are thousands of meditation techniques. I'm going to introduce a few for you today, and you just experiment, play with them, see which ones work well for you, and if they do, use those ones. If they don't suit you so well, then you can drop those ones and try another. So the one we're going to start with today is called Watching the Natural Breath. So we have these pictures of a relaxed looking woman and a relaxed looking frog, because we hear people talk a lot about stress. I'm too stressed. I have too much stress. I don't want so much stress. Often people don't talk about the opposite of stress. What is the opposite of stress? Oh, Ian, I'm with you. The chocolate meditation is a favourite. Yeah. Happiness, calm, relax, relaxation. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I would totally agree that it's relaxation is the opposite of stress. All these other words as well. And a lot of studies have been done about relaxation, and they have shown that relaxation actually increases productivity. We're also more creative when we're relaxed. People report better job and life satisfaction when they are relaxed. And of course, they say that they are less stressed. So how can we be more relaxed then? Because when we're very busy, we think that we don't have time to go on a holiday or to have a spa day or something. So I'm going to show you now a technique that can introduce relaxation. And it's called Watching the Natural Breath. So I would like you now to turn your awareness to your breathing. You may like to put one hand on your belly, like the picture of the frog, to bring more awareness to your breathing. And there's no need to change anything. Just have your awareness on where your breathing is happening right now. And you may notice that the breathing already becomes a little deeper, a little more relaxed, and perhaps goes even more deeply into the belly. And now, if you haven't done so already, close your eyes, because 80% of our energy goes outward through the eyes. And when we turn our awareness inside towards breathing, it's easier to learn without that outward going energy. Continue to watch your breathing. Watch the breathing as if it were happening to someone else. You may feel that you are more relaxed now, just sitting here watching your breathing happening without any effort on your part. And while you are sitting here watching your breathing happening all by itself, without any effort on your part, you may notice certain sensations in the body. And these sensations may be comfortable or uncomfortable. And for now, whatever is there, there's no need to judge. You can just leave them as they are and watch from deep inside as if they were happening to someone else. And now, as you're sitting here relaxed and as you continue to watch your breathing and your body, you may notice certain thoughts in your mind. And these thoughts may be important or unimportant, relevant or irrelevant. And for now, you can just leave them there, watching from deep inside, as if they were not yours, they were someone else's. The mind is designed to constantly produce thoughts. No need to interfere. And you may notice that as you watch the thoughts, that they come and go, as if they were clouds passing by. You are sitting calm and relaxed, unaffected by what is passing by. And now you may include in your awareness all the sounds around you, inside and outside the room. You can just allow these sounds to be there. You are unconcerned, just watching from deep inside. And now, as you continue to watch your breathing happen all by itself, naturally and without any effort on your part, and as you continue to be aware of your body and thoughts, can sit here relaxed. And in a moment, not yet, I will ask you to open your eyes. And when you do so, you may notice that you can continue to be as relaxed and as watchful of your breathing, your body, your thoughts, as you are right now. First, you may start by listening to my voice, and later doing a more active, simple activity. So keeping the space of awareness and relaxation, you can open your eyes. So, how are you feeling now? I want to smile. That's good. Well, I feel relaxed, happy, great, better, very good, fantastic, very nice results here. All you did was have a relaxed awareness of what was happening around you. And this was to show that you can start that feeling of relaxation by watching the natural breath. So not doing anything different, not changing, making your room silent or putting your body in a different posture, but just by watching whatever is happening to you at the moment. And you can do this at any time of the day, anywhere where you are, to bring that sense of relaxation. Now, as teachers, we want to be relaxed in the classroom. We want to be prepared for the class. And before the class, we often prepare our lessons, we get our resources, we set up the classroom. What we often forget to do is to prepare ourselves. And our teachers really, our students really feel that. When we rush into the classroom late and we're still preparing things and we say, okay, come in, sit down, welcome everyone. Or the opposite, if we're very distracted and we're thinking about things and we say to our students, yes, come in, welcome, sit down. They pick up on this. 80% of communication is not verbal, but it's through body language and through energetic exchange. So our students are very aware of how prepared we are. So we want to be as prepared as possible. And how we can do this is a technique called finding your center. So often we talk about feeling off balanced and things. There is a physical center in the body. And this is a picture of it. It's about 5 centimeters below your belly button. And in the East and in martial arts, they call it your hara. And this is where you move from in martial arts, or actually also in massage and things. It's basically, your life force, your center of gravity. And so to feel centered, we can just concentrate on this point. So you can place your hand there or just take a few breaths into that point. Now, if you can, wherever you are now, it's a good idea if you can stand up. And if you stand with both your feet on the floor and with your knees slightly bent, and just breathe a few times into this point. Put your attention there. And how we can feel if we are centered is by making ourselves purposefully off-centered. So you can lean to one side until you are about to fall over and then come back into the middle and feel that point. Olga, I'm sorry to hear about your broken ankle. You can do this just by sitting, focusing on your center of gravity, and lean a little to the left, right, and then come back again. All the time focusing on this center of gravity. You will be amazed if you do this before your students come into the classroom, that they respond to you totally differently and you respond to them totally differently. Actors use this technique before they go onto stage, and let's be honest, teaching and acting often have a lot in common, so it's no wonder that it works for both. So as EFL teachers, we have probably all taught this, okay, daily activities, and we've taught it in different ways at different levels, but we all know this. This is a technique to help with our daily activities. It's called neutral gear. Because what happens if you stop and think for a moment about how many different activities you do in the day? 10, 20, 30, 40. The number is vast. And because we're so much encouraged to make good use of the time and to multitask, we're often on our phones and trying to answer an email and have a conversation and tidy up the classroom and mark books at the same time. It means that we never put a break in between the activities. And what can happen is that at the end of the day, we can be exhausted, but our mind is still busy with everything. So this technique, neutral gear, is when you want to change from one activity to another activity, and we put a physical break in between them. Like if you drive a car, when you change gear, you always change through neutral gear, even just for a split second. But we don't change from first to second, we actually change first neutral second, second neutral third. And so this technique helps to finish one activity, leave it where it is, come back to ourselves, and then ready to start the next activity. And how we do this is also a breathing technique, but it's very different from watching the natural breath. We take 5 out breaths. Now, normally in breathing techniques, we take a breath in, but this is actually concentrating on the exhalation, the out breath. So if you can, wherever you are, take an out breath. And as you're breathing out, you can imagine whatever has been happening, your last activity, talking about the centering activity, whatever, you can imagine that being released with the breath. Breathe out for as long as possible until the body cannot breathe out anymore, and so it naturally takes a breath in. For me, it looks like this. And this technique we do 5 times. So if you can now, I would like you to take 5 breaths out. It doesn't matter if you do it through the mouth or the nose. I like to do it with my mouth open. Breathe out, imagine letting go of everything of that last activity. So I'm going to give you some time to take those out breaths. And if you have taken the out breaths, I'm sure that with just 5 breaths, you will feel different. And then it's like, okay, you're ready to start the next activity. And Ekaterina said that she tried this and it worked perfectly. It really does. It really changes something and gets us ready to start the next activity, so we can do the next activity as fully as possible. Now, this quote is also one of my favorites, or this saying, because as teachers we are often like this, because we work with our mind, and it's very mental, our job. We often get very separated from our bodies. We only become aware of our bodies when something goes wrong or starts to hurt us. And so a really nice thing is to make friends with your body, to reconnect the mind to the body, because like the saying says, your life is where your body is. We talked before about that the mind is very much in the past or in the future so much of the time. The body can only be in the now. So if we want to come back to the now, then a great way of doing this is to connect back with our bodies. And you can do this through a technique called a body scan. And if you have been to yoga classes or relaxation classes, you may be aware of this. Basically, you start with your feet and you just feel what sensations you find there. So like we did before, you can take a few breaths, become aware of your breathing, not changing anything, but just becoming aware of it. And then just feel your feet. So where are they right now? Are they both on the floor? Do you have shoes on, or socks, or barefoot? Where are they in contact with each other or the floor? Does the right foot feel the same as the left foot? Is there any tension there? So it's not about changing the tension, it's just about becoming aware. And then you would move up a little bit. Feel your calves, the back of your legs, that big muscle. Can you feel where the clothes are touching your legs? Is there any tension there? And then move further up to your knees and your thighs. So I'm not going to go through the whole body because we're a little bit pressed for time, but this body scan you can do at any point. It's nice to always start with the feet and then move up the body and just feel what sensations you find there. Actually, you may find that just by bringing your awareness there, any tension that you have might change. It's not so much about getting rid of the tension, it's really just about reconnecting with the body, because the body, like I say, is where your life is. Your body is always in the now. Another technique that brings us back to the now is a technique that is called sudden stop. And when I give these courses in person, we do this activity during coffee break. And participants go off in groups of 3 or 4. And at any time, somebody says, stop. And whatever you are doing, if you are about to take a sip of your water, you stop. If you are in the middle of a sentence, you stop. Whenever the person says stop, you just freeze, like the game Musical Statues. Maybe you play it if you teach young learners. You stop where you are, and in that moment, you become aware of where you were, because most of the time our mind was somewhere else. A study was done where people were given an app, and at random points in the day, they would get an alert from the app, and it would ask them questions like, are you present or absent? And how do you feel right now? And they would answer the question. And just by self-reporting, it was shown that we were absent, or those people were absent about 50% of the time. It also showed that when they were present, that they were consistently happier when they said that they were present. So this stop activity just is a way to bring us back to now, back to the body. My friend downloaded an app on his computer, so when you used to go to in his office, every now and again you would hear a gong like this one, but it came from his computer. Suddenly you would hear this sound. And he would just stop for a few seconds and listen. And really just ask himself where he was and, you know, what was happening for him. So you can do this with any sounds around you. You can do it with a colleague if you have, who you want to play this activity, or you can do it with the sound when you get an alert on your phone that you have an email or a text message. Instead of rushing straight away to get the phone, you take a breath. Every time a student shouts, "Teacher," instead of answering straight away, come back to now. Okay, so for the next activity, you need a piece of paper and a pen. And if you could get that ready now, because I'm going to give you a task. Okay, and just like in our lessons, okay, it always works better if you experience it yourself. So if you could really experience this activity yourself, it works much better. So if you get your pen and paper ready and wait for your task. Okay. And what's really important in this task is that you follow my instructions exactly. So this will be a test of your listening. Okay. Yeah, any piece of paper is okay, any pen, you just need to write something down. Okay, so at some point I will give you another instruction, and it's really important that you follow it exactly. Okay, so if everybody's ready, open, oh sorry, maybe you don't have your eyes closed. Okay, ready? I want you to copy this text. So take your pen, take your paper and copy what is written on the screen. So it doesn't work so well if you're typing. Really, just write down. This is your task. You need to complete this task, and it needs to be perfect. And you need to get this task done. You need to complete it, and it needs to be perfect. And some of you will be writing faster, so if you finish, then go back to the top and carry on copying it. So really, yeah, get this done. Okay, the time is running out. And I would like you to stop and close your eyes. Freeze where you are. Feel your hand that's holding the pen. Feel your arm and your shoulders. What are you thinking right now? How do you feel doing this activity? So not answering in the box, just thinking about it in the chat box, just thinking about it yourself. Okay, and then put your pen down and open your eyes. Okay, and then rub your hands together like this, and rub your face and your hair, and wake yourselves up a little bit. Change your position a little. Okay, because the next activity that we're going to do is we're going to change our focus. So meditation, this relaxed awareness, is really about changing our focus from what we do to how you are doing it. Okay, and this is where meditation really comes into daily life, into everyday activities. So this time, I want you to do a task as if it is the most important task in the world. So for these next minutes, nothing else matters. Nothing else exists. Forget everything. Put all of your love, all of your energy, all of your focus onto this one task. Do it with your whole body, with your whole being, with totality, with love, as if nothing else matters. In fact, nothing else exists in this moment. Only doing this one task. So take your pen and your piece of paper and put a line under the writing that you did before, and get ready for your next task. And your task is to copy the text. And this time, copy the text as if it is your only job. Nothing else exists at this moment. The only thing you have to do is this one task with all your love, with all your totality, with all your being. Copy this text. And stop and close your eyes and answer these questions to yourselves. How is your hand feeling that's holding the pen? How's your arm and your shoulder? What are you thinking at the moment? What are you feeling? And open your eyes and look at the two different pieces of writing that you did. Is there a difference between the writings? Is there a difference between your moods or how you feel? Some of you are already saying that you feel relaxed. Some are saying that you have a more accurate handwriting. It's better than before. The difference is huge. It's definitely different. It's more neatly written. How? Because we changed the focus from what we were doing to how we were doing it. You were doing exactly the same activity, but with a different focus. And this technique is a really beautiful technique to use whenever you're doing a physical activity. I use it when I'm writing on the board, when I'm marking the students' books, when I am preparing the classroom, when I'm getting my photocopies ready. So you can choose a physical activity and try this out, changing your focus. It works, I'd say it's a very powerful technique. So I want to show you another technique, which is to take 5 minutes. And I do this when I do the courses live with people, and I say, okay, you have 5 minutes now to do whatever your body wants to do. And people straight away get their phones, and I say, your body does not want to check your messages or read your emails. That's your mind. Really, for the next 5 minutes, do whatever your body wants to do. And for a little bit, people sit there looking a little bit confused, and then some of them start to stretch or lie down. Or some leave the room to go outside, and some run around the room, and some jump up and down, and some shout, and some have a little sleep for 5 minutes. And then after the 5 minutes, I ring a bell and come back and say, how was it? And people are amazed that 5 minutes can totally change their feelings. So we really often think that we don't have enough time to do things for ourselves. But this is an encouragement to take 5 minutes and really set an alarm on your watch or on your phone and do nothing except what your body wants to do, what feels good for your body, for 5 minutes. Sometimes we think, I haven't had a minute to myself today. And I would encourage you to take 5 minutes. And the last activity I want to show you is mindful walking. And there's two different techniques that you can do while you're walking. And this might be when you're walking to school, between your classroom and the staff room. One is that you count your steps in your head, quietly. Every step you count. Now I count to 10 and then start again with my counting, just because it's too difficult for me to count higher. One of my very good friends counts to 100, but for me, this is too much. I just do it in rounds of 10. This is easy and simple because it stops the mind wandering off and making you worry, and it brings you back to now because you're concentrating on the counting. Another technique is what's called mindful listening. So as you're walking, choose a short period from the bus stop to your school, or from your classroom to the staff room, and listen to all of the sounds that you can hear. I did it yesterday in a car park and was amazed. I heard doors closing of cars, birds, I heard alarms, music, people talking. It's like, wow, there are so many more noises or sounds than you think. And so that mindful listening does two things. It brings us back to the present, and it also stops us being so stressed or distracted by the noises, because we're actually bringing them into our awareness, and they help us to come back to the moment. All of these techniques are things that you can do in your classrooms, before you go in, afterwards. Nobody needs to know that you are doing them. Yeah, and that was essential for me. That somebody asked me once, but when do you meditate? And I said, actually, all the time. It's just that you don't see that I'm doing it. Well, not all the time. I'm not that good. A lot of the time. So these techniques can be used at any time in the day. And the idea is that they help you to refill your cup. So remember the adage at the beginning, you can't pour from an empty cup. So mindfulness and meditation techniques are designed to re-energize. One of the meditators said that meditation gives him energy and re-energizes him. And yeah, it's exactly designed to do that, to keep our cup filled up. But how can we do this? Well, meditation is like a muscle. The more we use it, the stronger it gets. I have just remembered there, we're going to put a link, I think, to a great a great YouTube video by an English doctor called Dr. John Andrews. And he talks exactly about this. Firstly, what is meditation in terms of neuroscience, but also meditation techniques for for busy people. So that's a great watch as well if you have time afterwards. So I would encourage you to meditate as much as possible. But one of my teachers, meditation teachers, gives this very nice analogy. She says that people often try meditation when they are at their most stressed, when everything is falling apart, and you say, "Oh, I'm so stressed, I need to meditate." This is probably not going to work very well. She says, if you were going to jump out of an aeroplane with a parachute, you wouldn't start making that parachute when you were in the aeroplane. You would make the parachute on the floor, on the ground. You would test it. You would make sure it was safe. So then in that moment that you really need the parachute, when you're going to jump out of the plane, you know it's going to work. And it's exactly the same with meditation. Really practice it when you feel good, when you feel relaxed. And so in those times of stress, then you have already tried the techniques and you know that they work. So how can you try the techniques? Well, you can download an action plan. And this is so we don't say things like, I'm going to meditate all day tomorrow. I'm going to be mindful as soon as I wake up to the minute I go to bed, because let's be honest, this will not happen. Okay, so the action plan helps us to choose a precise time, also a reminder. So things will help you to remember to try the techniques. So choose 2 or 3 methods. I would say choose one, try it out, and then the next week try another. Just see which ones work for you. When I do the course in person, I also give participants a ribbon to tie around their wrist, and this also acts as a reminder. I sometimes do it with a bracelet, so I wear a different bracelet on different days, and this acts as my reminder. So as I'm busy doing things, I look down and see the bracelet and say, oh yes, wasn't I going to try the neutral gear today? Okay, I'll do it now. Or when you say, oh yes, the body scan, oh, I have 5 minutes, I'm going to go to the staff room or a quiet classroom and do it there. Okay, and then the last thing I would like to finish on is a quote that really helps us to see how we should be meditating. And this is from a famous meditation teacher. And he says, meditate playfully. non-seriously, because whenever you meditate seriously, you become tense. And meditation needs relaxation. Meditation needs a joyful heart. It is not work, it is play. So please don't take this as, oh no, it's another thing I have to do. Really take it as play. Yeah, it's joyful. It's playful, it's non-serious. Yeah. Choose a technique that works for you and play, or that you're interested in, and play with it. And really enjoy experimenting which techniques work for you. There are meditation teachers and classes and techniques that you can find on the internet. So this is really an encouragement for you to find and try what works for you. Now, as the chat box was whizzing along earlier, somebody said, can they get the text of the guided meditation that I did? Yes and no. You can download a very similar guided relaxation that I have produced myself, and you can get it by signing up to this newsletter. And it's basically a way to keep getting contact about meditation, and to get different techniques. If you just want to download the guided relaxation, then that's absolutely fine. Just use this address here. My email address is there if you have any questions about meditation, mindfulness, any of the techniques that we've tried today that you want to ask questions about, then that's absolutely fine. Please email me. And so I think we have run out of time, or not run out of time, but we've got to the end. So I'd just like to say a big thank you for all of you who have joined today. And I hope that you have enjoyed it and got some techniques that you would like to play with over the next couple of days. Okay, so from me, that's a big thank you. I think some questions are in the chat box. I think we're going to do that as, how to say, hopefully Gareth will explain it. That will happen in the next couple of days or next week, I think. So for me, yeah, it's a big thank you very much, and over to you, Gareth.
Thank you very much for taking part. Ushapa, thank you so much for that. That was wonderful. As I said, I've already tried a couple of those things out, especially the walking and counting and things, and it was brilliant today. So thank you so much. I hope the rest of you have enjoyed that and can take lots and lots of things away from that as well. I've just managed to lose something, so just give me a second. As Ushapa said, some of the questions, because the webinar was packed full of ideas, Ushapa didn't get time to answer all of the questions that were asked. I did collect a few of them, and I've put them into a chat box, which I will send to Ushapa, and she will do a question and answer blog, which will appear on the OUP blog in the next couple of days or the next week or so. So if you had a question and you think, oh, she didn't manage to answer, maybe you can email her and ask her, or she will answer that question on the blog. We'd love you to do feedback if you could. If you click on the name feedback here and then click on browse to, then it will take you to a website that will get you a chance to do feedback. Oxford University Press run lots of these events all the time, and so you can come to many webinars or face-to-face events and meet us in person. It would be lovely to see you. So please check out the website www.oup.com/ELT. Thank you again so much to Ushapa. Thank you to you for keeping that chat box moving all the way through. We were inundated with questions. Alga's just asked another one, which I'm copying as I speak, if I can, and I'm putting into the chat box. Thank you for all your lovely comments to Ushapa as well because of that. Some of you are saying you can't access the feedback on websites, on iPhones and things. If you can't access it, then I think it's included in the follow-up email. In the follow-up email, you will get the slides, you'll get a recording, you will get confirmation of attendance, and you'll get information and links to other webinars as well. That should come in the next couple of couple of days or weeks, okay? A couple of days, I mean, not weeks at all. So thank you very much. I'm going to leave you now. And I'll post those links that Ushapa mentioned again in the chat box before we go, okay? So thank you and goodbye.